Okay, so the question is, what's my favorite thing to make?
Yeah, my question is, what's your favorite type of music to make? Because obviously you make
Uh,
rappers and all that kind of stuff, different styles. I just heard your like Axis is like bass music slash like even some D like drum and bass in there. Like, what's your
mhm,
favorite? Like, what would you say is like Holly? Like, what would you want your definitive like what's
mhm.
yeah like what would you want your style
Okay,
to be,
okay.
or would it be
Uh,
every?
I feel like as I grow and I get older, I feel like what I'm really trying to find more than the style is like a feeling. It's like something that when you hear a song, like you can feel like, oh, this music brings me peace or brings me like a new emotion or like introduce me like to something that I haven't been introduced before, you know? And I feel that's kind of what I've been like. I love so many different styles of music. And like when I was growing up, like I was maybe like 5 and I was already listening to like the Prodigy because of my older brother. So like listening to
Yeah,
the Prodigy at such a young age, like I got introduced to like reggae, techno, like dubstep, jungle, drum and bass, like everything in like one record. And that was really my thing when I was younger, was to build like Lego cities and just like listen to the Prodigy on loop. So I feel like
yeah,
when I got older, I got introduced to hip hop when I was maybe like 12, 13, and like I fell in love. I was also skateboarding around that time, so it was really kind of like the soundtrack of a lot of skate movies that I like. So then when I started making music, yeah, and then before I started making music, I had like a phase where I went to so many like punk hardcore shows and like I got very into different types of like yeah, just like punk and hardcore and rock. So when
yeah,
I started making music, I was like, damn, I just want to make, I just want to have fun with it. I felt very attracted to like hip hop, and because I just love the idea of like being able to produce like my favorite rappers and like, thinking about like a rapper in Portugal that changed my life and being like, oh, maybe I can do something for this rapper career as well because they already helped me. Now it's my way to help them. And
yeah,
yeah, but now as I get older, I feel like I just love everything and like I get very bored easily. So like for me, if I work on like a specific style for like a week or two, then I'm like, oh damn, I need like to switch something and like I need to like look into other styles and like just also just as a way to like keep learning about stuff like
yeah,
what what are like what are different drum techniques, different grooves, like different samples, different ways like to chop stuff, like different synthesizers. So yeah, so I think I just love music. It's like I don't really have like it's like of course I do more stuff towards electronic and hip hop, but I just like love everything, and I feel like there's not really like a specific style that I love to make more, and I feel like in the future, I think yeah, people gonna look into my career and be more like, oh, Holly was more into hip hop and
yeah,
electronic, but I think it's gonna be more like a feeling, like and there's like people that I feel that way. For example, like I had this conversation with Bauer one time because we work a lot on his last record, and one time we were talking about like changing styles and stuff, and I was like, man, actually, like you always did so much stuff. I always connect Bauer to like a feeling, and I feel that's also what I've been, really looking to do with my life is just yeah, finding a way to my music like to bring joy and heal people in a certain way, and whatever it's the style that is going to make that, then I think it's valid, but yeah, but sometimes it's a blessing and a curse because even I get confused, so
yeah.
yeah,
You're like, what do I want to be making?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome though. Yeah, I feel like there's just so much variety in your sound. Like I wouldn't be surprised for you to release any genre. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not
Mhm.
surprised. Like he
Yeah, yeah,
probably just do all that.
yeah, 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 and I do a lot of stuff just in experiences that like I don't really share them because it's like I just don't know how I could share them or like what would be kind of like in the story that I'm telling, how I would like present those styles. But I do a lot of stuff just like for practice, like I listen to a song and I'm um, like I've been getting very into like African music, for example. So sometimes I hear some stuff and I'm like, damn, let me just like try so I can just understand like where's the kick and where's the snare and like what's the tempo and why does this song make me feel so good, and so I do
Yeah.
a lot of stuff just as a student and just for practice. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I've been like following your stuff like for a while. So there was like things I was like, damn, I'm actually kind of curious like how you feel about certain things.
Yeah.
And yeah, and this goes back to insurrection, like because like when I got introduced to your music, I was also listening to a lot of stuff from friends like Joseph Stein and Brodisky and like Bromance and like all those guys. But when I
Yeah.
heard your stuff, it was like I could feel some similarities like in like some tempos, but I was like, damn, this is like completely like this is so different and so fresh, and like the whole like the way you were using your sound design was like so like interesting to me because I was very into those grooves, and then just like listening to that kind of flip into your music was very cool. So I was curious if for that record or for those records around that time, like if you got inspired by the Paris scene or it's just a coincidence on my side? And if you did inspire, then how did you get introduced to that sound and what attracted you into it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So around the time that I released that exact EP was definitely around the same time that I found out about like Paris producers, like like French producers, like you just mentioned, like Gasavelstein, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I was making music that was around 80 to 100 BPM before that. But then when I found out about like Pursuit by Gus Apfelstein and there's a
Mm-hmm.
different one too. What else is there? Oh
Maybe
yeah,
hate and glory.
yeah, Hater and
Yeah.
Glory. Like it's when I heard that kind of stuff that yeah, it did influence me. I don't know if I found out about him before or after that particular EP. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard to remember, but either way, it was around the same time. So yeah, there's definitely some inspiration caught there for sure. Yeah, but then I tried to add my own kind of twist, like my own twist to it, because like I guess I sort of found a way to incorporate like more bass music with that
Mm-hmm.
tempo. You know what I mean? With like
Mm-hmm.
tracks like Plague on that EP or like
Yeah,
later
yeah, yeah.
like Edge, like it sort of like has industrial sounding drums, the way like a lot of these French producers have it, but then I just made sure to I include different bass sounds that they don't really include in their
Mm-hmm.
stuff because I don't think they're super influenced by like bass music, whereas like I'm
Mm-hmm.
very influenced by bass music. So that's kind of where I try to sprinkle in that sound, or I've tried to sprinkle in that sound of like bass music into this sort of mid-tempo, like 100
Mm-hmm.
BPM type music. So yeah, I guess that's kind of where I think I paved my own little section of, you know what I mean, sound
Mm-hmm.
there. But yeah, now to this day, like I'm so excited to hear like new Gasavelstein music. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's like yeah, and like yeah, obviously Brodinski and like I love Justice, like so many of those
Mm-hmm.
people I'm like most excited probably to hear their
And
kind of music.
how did you find like the music back then? Was just like internet or like the fact because
Yeah,
there's
you
also
want
like a big French community kind of like in Canada. So I was like, oh, like did someone like introduce you to this stuff or you know?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually so interesting because basically how I found out was because I was making music at that tempo, and a few people would comment, be like, "This sounds like Gesaffelstein," or "This sounds
Yeah.
inspired by Gesaffelstein," and I was like, "Oh wait, really?" And then I was like, "Who's this?" That like few people, like there was a few blogs that actually referred to me as the female Gesaffelstein. Like there's literally like early blogs that like
Yeah.
that, like, and then I was like, who is this?" And then yeah, and then like
Yeah.
I searched him up and I was like, oh, like this guy is like next level. And like, yeah, to this day,
Yeah.
to me, he's like one of the coolest. And that's like
Yeah.
it has a lot to do with his mystery. Like he doesn't give anyone anything. So like you don't know anything about him like as a person, which like creates this like aura to him that like makes him even more cool kind of. So yeah, I mean, for
Mhm.
sure now very influenced for sure, definitely. It's about
Mhm.
the beginning I didn't
Yeah,
know who he was, but now of course I know. Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah. No, that's
um
great.
okay, my question now is how often are you working on music and how quickly do you finish songs?
I just turned I'm from 95, I just turned 29 and like
Oh,
when I
we're the same age, dude. We're
oh
the same.
really?
What the
Crazy.
fuck? That's crazy. Yeah, I'm 20. Well, I'm 28. I'm turning 29 in March. Yeah,
Nice, nice,
March
nice, nice.
28th.
Nice,
That's
nice.
crazy. What? Holy shit. I did not realize we were the same age, both 95.
Yeah,
Like, that's insane.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so like when I was 21, like I did like I started making music when I was 18, but I was very like trying to find my groove into it and like how often I was gonna make music. And then when I was 21, I went to Rome in Italy with my brother and one of my best friends and just like celebrate my birthday. And during that time, like I remember going and yeah, and like I didn't make music like those days, and I was
Yeah.
just kind of tripping, like, oh damn, like I'm like getting older. and like, you know, I really want to like do something important in music, and I'm here like getting drunk, and I'm not like, you know, working. So I was like, you know what, like fuck it, I'm not gonna take a day off like for a long time, and I kept that mentality for like until a couple weeks ago. So like until a couple weeks ago, I was making music like every day, and yeah, and it's crazy like to look back and like to see that I didn't miss like a day in like making music, even when I had like to take flights or something. Like I would still like find 10 minutes to just like start an idea or something. And yeah, and then last month I started feeling like very tired, and like I started feeling my brain very foggy, and like just like not thinking clearly sometimes. And I started to understand that yeah, it's time to take days off sometimes. And so yeah, so I was actually like in Brazil, and I had like to travel between some cities, and it was kind of like I was gonna be in some kind of like sketchy areas. So I was like, okay, this is perfect to not like bring my laptop with me and to not work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was like the first time, yeah, in years that I took a day off. So yeah, so basically I make music, yeah, pretty much every day, but I'm trying to yeah implement more like days off, like you know maybe like once a week I might do a day off. And like when I make music,
Balance.
yeah,
Like you're like, now I'm gonna take one day off a week.
yeah, maybe, but yeah, it's been kind of crazy lately, so it's been hard to do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, regarding the how fast I finish music, I think I'm pretty fast because like I don't really like think that much, and I try to find the solution as fast as possible, right? So like if I'm making a song, I just sometimes think it as like a problem, and I'm just like trying to find like the solution to get into that. Or sometimes like I apply certain rules, like oh, I'm just gonna use 10 sounds, and I'll see what I can do with this with these 10 sounds.
Oh,
Or
nice,
I only
nice.
have like 15 minutes to work on a song, or I only have like 1 hour. It's no, so like I apply these rules, which kind of help me a lot to like finish stuff. Because my goal is like every time I do an idea, the goal is to export like one demo, like a bounce of that demo into the folder. So I have like MP3. So like I always work as much as possible to get something kind of close to being listenable like the day after, so I can keep track of what I'm doing. So yeah, but then it's funny because then when I want to release music, I go back into the songs, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like doing anything else anymore. Like I'm just happy with the original version, you know. So it's
Right, yeah.
yeah. So I think I finished music like yeah pretty fast, and I don't think that much. Like I just guide myself a lot through feeling, and I think doing that and not thinking that much helps me to be like very like fast in getting stuff done. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm definitely
yeah.
super fast as well, like in terms of like when I usually like to start and finish a song within a couple days for sure. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
usually first day, like the idea, get the idea out, and like second and third day is like, you know, finishing little touches on it or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I definitely don't work on music every single day. Like I'll
Okay, okay.
like I'm more like what I'll do is I'll finish like sometimes I'll finish like a few tracks that I'm really happy with like in a month. Like I'll have like 3 songs or something that I finish in a month. But then afterwards I'll like take a break. Like I won't work on music for like a few weeks or anything like
Whoa,
that.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
because like I'll be like
that's very new to me.
yeah, because like for me, I
Yeah.
know I'm listening to you and I'm like, damn, like I need to like step up my hustle a little. But no, like I've kind of learned like there's just a balance for me is like so important, you know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
in every aspect, not just for like touring, but like also with making music. I just try to like, even though making music makes me the happiest in the world. So if I worked on music every day, I'd be happy as fuck doing that. But like I
Mhm.
just like to have balance, like, and like also like once I get an idea out and I'm so happy about it, I like to like sit and just like chill for a bit and just listen to that idea like 1,000 times and just like
Mhm.
listen to it in the car, listen to it on my speakers, like you know, relax. And then I like to like go out sometimes. Like I don't drink alcohol often, but
Mhm.
like I would love to like go out and have a few drinks like after and just like take my mind off of everything, just like enjoy life a little bit and then like come back like and then like you know what I mean? Like I try to like go really hard on music and then I'll like take a break after where I'm like not working on anything for like a few weeks or
Mhm.
something and then like get back to it again once I'm like refreshed and like have that like you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
guess
yeah, 100%.
I still see it very much as like a passion hobby. Like you know what I mean? Even though
Mhm.
it's my career, like I see it as it's like a passion and a hobby. So that being said, like it never feels like work for me. A lot of people don't relate to that. Like when I talk to other people, they say like producing music does feel like work to them because it is their job, right? And like they're like it certainly feels like work to them when they're spending like 6 hours on tweaking a snare or something like that, right?
Yeah,
But
I
like
could do that. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm very
but like
happy on the first net I choose, you know, like I never go like I never overthink too much about it.
I,
But
I'm
I feel what you're saying.
I feel
Yeah.
that, but like no, I feel that, and like I'm the same way where it's like I just like stick with it. Like if snare is giving the vibe that I want it to give off, and like that's it. I'm not gonna overthink it. Like it's great. But a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people like really overthink. Like they'll really like switch out the snare. They'll like tweak every little tiny thing, and like that works. That definitely works for a lot of people. But I can see how it also feels like a job, like a lot more in a case like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, for me, I definitely yeah, I'm the same. I'm definitely the same as you in that way, where I just like
Yeah,
try to just have fun. Yeah, for me it's just like fun, and and that's why I think I don't do it like every single day, because like it just doesn't feel like a job for me to like make music, you know what I mean? But it definitely feels like a job for me to do everything else though, like touring, like touring. I'm
yeah.
like that's the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. For me, like the doing music every day, it's just I just feel it's like practice, you know. It's just like yeah, just me like being very curious about what other things can I learn, like what other styles, and yeah.
No,
Which
I see
that's kind
that.
of that's kind of interesting because actually like one of the things I want to ask, which you already kind of answered, is like what is the role that music production plays in your peace of mind and health, you know? But you already said it makes you very happy.
Yeah.
So I think that's like pretty
Yeah.
much it. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it definitely makes me the happiest I could possibly feel is when I make something that I'm proud of. Like when I make something that I'm really excited about, like nothing compares to that feeling. Like
Amazing.
it's just like the best thing. And yeah, for me, it's like I see it as it's my passion, and I don't know. I'm just obsessed with it. Like I've become more obsessed with it since I started. Like every day, I kind of like love it more, honestly. And like my relationship with music in general, like music production, is like I think it's like a really healthy relationship. Like if I'm working on music and I make something that I don't really love that day, I don't go and lay down at night and think to myself like, fuck, like I made shit today, like fuck my life. Like I don't it doesn't like define my self-worth, you know what I mean? It's like I just see it as a passion. I just love it so much. So whether I made something I like absolutely love that day, or whether I made something that like sounded like shit, like for me, I'm just like I still love it. Like it was just still something fun to do. Like it doesn't even matter. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You like how about you how do you react to if you are working on music and you're not having much luck with it? Like do you deal with writer's block, for example?
No, I don't deal with them. I don't deal with that stuff because I feel like I built a lot of tools in myself to not face that. So I think that's the number one. Second is because I'm very curious about a lot of different stuff. So it's like if I'm not like, for example, if I do a lot of drops, right, then I might just like try new drops, like what's like the best drop I could do. Then I'm like, oh, it gets to the point where I'm like, yeah, I can't do like, you know, I can't do drops now. I need like something very peaceful, mellow. So I might just go do like hip hop beats or just like ambient music or whatever. So there's always like this balance that I find in the music production that goes into the styles, you know. Um, so yeah, and so yeah, so I think all that stuff like kind of helps me like not have writing blocks at all because I'm always super like yeah curious about stuff, and I feel like yeah having like an open taste is like very helpful as well on that, you know. I think if I only listen to like dubstep or like only hip hop or you know I'll get like very you know like it wouldn't be as easy to follow that energy. I think, you know, I'll get stuck because I'm just so I'll be very attached to like a BPM or like a structure or something. So yeah.
Okay, so basically
Yeah.
like because your taste is so like broad, you find that writer's block isn't really a thing for you, because like
Yeah,
if you get
yeah.
because if you get stuck on like bass music or something, you just go to like make
I
like
just switch. Yeah. I just switch. Yeah.
shit. I see. Yeah, that's definitely a good
Yeah.
advice right there. That's definitely good. I
It's
think,
like a playlist,
yeah,
I think, you know, like when you have like when you're like just like listening to music and you have a playlist and it's like, damn, I've been listening to this style for a while. Like, oh, I wonder, like I never heard jazz. Like, let me see what's up with jazz, you know, and then like you just start listening to jazz and then you get tired and like, you know, it's kind of like that. Like
yeah,
sometimes I treat sometimes like the reality that I treat like production is like the soundtrack to my day and to my life, you know. It's like, oh, how does this day sound like, you know, and I make it a bit about like that, you know. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I feel like I'm a little bit different in terms of the vision that I have for my project generally
Yeah.
is like so like clear. Like I want it to like feel a certain way and whatever. So I think when you know, the vision is more narrow in that regard, it's more like susceptible to feeling things like such as writer's block. And I think that's why a lot of people deal with writer's block, is because they have this certain vision that they want, but like they're not able to make something that day that like you know what I mean, really capitalizes on that vision. So they're like, oh, I have a writer's block. But yeah, so I guess I'm trying to think, like, if I have a block, like I don't know. I kind of feel, I don't really like to like even refer to it as a block. Like some days if I just don't feel like working on music or something like that, I'll just like literally go and do something completely random, like go out, hang out with people, leave my house, like do something that has nothing to do with music or whatever, or watch a movie, or you know, just sometimes like inspiration could just like hit you in the most random moment. You can like watch a movie or see a certain scene, or go in nature and enter some coffee shop and hear some random beat on like the like, you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, I just like heard something in my head off of that beat that I can like go home and like work on.
Yeah.
I kind of just like let the inspiration like come to me sometimes, you know what I mean? If I'm already just kind of like super gassed by like working on too much music, or just not, or I don't know, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you travel like besides shows?
No, I don't. No. So that
You don't like to travel, like like what? Yeah, what's your what's your relationship with that idea of traveling?
yeah.
Because
My
that's very helpful for me too. Just like, yeah, like I love to travel and like to go to new cultures and like
yeah.
just like go to crazy places, and like that changes everything, like to the
I
taste, the way you
respect
see
that.
life, you know. So yeah,
That
so I'm
yeah,
curious, like how you feel about that.
that's definitely super cool. So for me, my introduction to travel was through my career, right?
Not the
So
best way.
yeah, no, yeah. So not the
Yeah.
best way to sort of like introduce yourself to travel, because my perception on travel at the moment is just solely associated with work and my job, which also is associated with a plethora of other emotions and feelings. Because of course, you know, the high pressure of like the high pressure of performance, and you know, playing in front of big crowds, and crowds in general, doesn't matter what size they are, either way it's overwhelming. And you know, the nerves, the all that stuff that goes into it, and then on top of that you're traveling, so your routines are like, you don't have your routines, you don't have the regular foods you eat and stuff like this. So I would say my perceptions towards traveling as of today isn't the best. Like,
Hmm.
I think now that I have more time off in between shows, I genuinely am very excited about each show that I have, which is like a huge, awesome thing. Because when I was overdoing it, I wasn't as excited for each show, because I was instead just dreading the travel and what goes into those shows. Like, of course, I'm not talking about the actual performance. I love playing my music. But, you know, as we all know, like that's the fun part. Like, you know what I mean? Like all the other stuff surrounding it
Hmm.
began to tax and weigh on me a lot in ways that like I definitely did not anticipate like going into it. So I've actually needed to slow down my touring just for my sanity, and also like just for the sake of like me having time to produce music. I'm not really the type of person to like produce much on the road. Like I like to just like
Hmm.
shut off kind of when I like travel, you know? Um, I would like to travel more for leisure, and I definitely plan to, especially in my 30s and stuff like that. Like as my touring career slows down even more as I get older, potentially. I mean, who knows? Everything's unpredictable.
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe when I'm 30, I'll be like, nah, I'm gonna go do a 45 date tour within like two
yeah.
months. Like I don't know how I'm gonna be, right? But like all I can say is I do anticipate that I will desire to go travel for leisure and just go explore nature and go explore, you know, just a bunch of different like spaces like this, and have it be completely irrelevant to a show setting. But at the moment, I'm not ready for that yet, because I'm still too committed to just like doing only like shows for travel right now, because like I am such a homebody. I love being home so much.
Hmm.
Like genuinely, like I'm just one of those people that just like loves to be at home with like all my
Hmm.
belongings, all my stuff. I like to drive myself places. I like to, like, you know what I mean, just do run my own
Hmm.
errands. go for a drive. Like those are like some of my favorite things to do, you know? How about you
Mhm.
though? You love traveling a lot?
Yeah, I love to travel. That has always been, you know, since I was a kid. Like, I kind of wanted to be like a flight attendant at some point because I was like, yeah, I just want to like go to different places and then yeah, then as I got older, like I just been yeah, like I started just like traveling just for shows as well, and like yeah, and maybe when I was like 20, 21, 22, and then like lately actually I've been kind of like traveling more just like for fun, like without like thinking about like the shows. So I think when COVID happened, I was very like I got just kind of scared, like, whoa, maybe that's it. I'll never like go to a new place again or something like that. And then after
Yeah.
COVID slowed down, like yeah, me and my friend, like we went to Egypt and like we went to like Senegal and like we went to like Palestine and I went to Uganda. Like I just like started like traveling to places like that I thought were very like different from my culture, and yeah, and then like yeah, before I think like in the last couple of months, that's like I did like the most travels ever. Like I went to like Thailand for like 3 weeks, and then I went to Bali for like 3 weeks, and then I went to Vietnam for 2 weeks, and I was just like traveling by myself and just exploring new places.
What?
Yeah,
That's
so
wild. What?
yeah, so for me, like you know, it's just like a personal goal. I really want to go to like every country in the world, like, and I would like to do it in my 30s for sure. So I have like this thing, like, oh damn, I gotta like, you know, travel often, you know. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's crazy. Oh my God. Like when you were
yeah,
working music while doing all this, so you just travel different
yeah.
places.
I was always making music. Yeah, and I also like I have like the OP1 as well, like the keyboard. So like the OP1, you can connect to like vocal radios. So like a lot of the stuff I would
Okay.
do would be like think about a place and then travel to that place and then connect the OP1 to the radio and then sample like vocal radios into the OP1, and I would get like connected to like music I never heard before too. So
Oh,
so
wow.
I did that like in Senegal, which was like really cool, and in Egypt and um yeah, so yeah, I love to travel. It's like super important for me to like I always like feel refreshed, I think, you know, and like kind of
Oh, yeah.
get in like uncomfortable situations, and yeah, so
Oh, that's so cool. I love that
yeah,
perspective about that. How do you feel
yeah,
about traveling in relation to your shows? Like how do you like how because like obviously you're just talking about travel for leisure, but what's it
yeah,
like
yeah,
to travel for your shows and how do you like how do you find that different and like how do you
yeah, yeah.
feel about it?
Like I think one thing that you when you were talking, I was thinking is like when we travel for shows, like we're always like on a schedule, right? It's like oh at 6 p.m. I need to be here, like 7 p.m. like we leave, like we did like it's always like you are looking always like on time and like seeing what like what's happening. So I feel like when I travel, it's just like I just love to not think about time and to just like go into the culture and the situation, like just be present, you know, and not think like
Yeah, yeah.
I need to reply to this or I need to get back like someone. It's just like yeah, it's just like me here in this place I never like, you know, been and just enjoy. So like I love it. You know, it's totally different because there's a lot of more freedom. Yeah, and that's also the thing is like I got to a point where I was traveling a lot, but I was always traveling like between the same places. Like I would go as well. Like sometimes I would play like Korea or I would play like China or Japan, and then America. And then I found myself like, damn, I'm like traveling so much, but I'm always like in the same places. So I started feeling like I needed to like break that like routine kind of and like just go into different worlds. And yeah, which was yeah super important for me as well. So yeah, that's yeah,
So then
traveling is like so important. Yeah.
so you like, wait, but when it's in relation to shows though, like how would you say like you say you don't like that it's more like scheduled, like you have to like
No, I love it, but like sometimes it's uh like you just really sacrifice a lot of like hours of sleep, you know, and like sometimes you don't feel like that good, and sometimes it's also like you go to a place and you are there just for like a couple hours. It's like damn, this place is a vibe. Like I wish I was here for like a little bit more, you know. So but like I enjoy both. I still like traveling the traveling for shows as well as like sometimes like an exercise or like a challenge for you like to do the most as possible like in that period of time in that place, right? And
yeah.
I don't know, and I feel like going to shows is always it's like it's a blessing because it's also the best way sometimes to understand like a culture and like how the people react to things and like you know from how the people dress, like what's the food they are selling, like how people like react to the sounds, you know, and that's like on a deeper level that's like a great way to like just know like a community. Like one of the things that I love when I travel is to just go like a club and just see like, oh, what music do they play here, you know,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
what's the
that's
difference.
yeah.
So yeah, so I love both. Yeah, I love both, you know, but definitely the freedom aspect of like traveling by myself is like, you know, a really big part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. I'm actually like inspired by this conversation because like I definitely will
Yeah.
travel for leisure at some point in my life and like and I'm definitely gonna take the like kind of like the advice that you're even sharing here, which is just to
Yeah.
go and to like not have a schedule and to just go
Yeah. Yeah.
in the present moment because I definitely feel you. My association with travel is having like a really tight schedule. I'm like whatever and just having to be somewhere at a certain time and like having to be there like you can't back out like
Hmm.
even if you're like ill like it's like there's not really much space for forgiveness like as an artist if you like cancel a show because you're sick or like whatever
Hmm.
so like yeah I've had to like really pull my stuff like pull myself together to like get through certain performances because of like being ill or like whatever do you get
Hmm.
like nervous before playing on like your shows?
Mm, uh, I mean, not that much these days. I used to get very nervous. Like I remember the first time I had the show, a week before the show, I was like shaking sometimes, just like thinking about the fact I was going to be on stage, you know. But
Yeah,
nowadays I'm pretty chill, you know. But I've been feeling like it's like I think sometimes I gotta learn myself. I gotta learn how to enjoy more the show. I think, you know. I think sometimes like I get very in my head about like all the technical things that go into doing the show when you are on stage. Like, oh, like um am I gonna mix this song right? Like, is this like gonna work? Like, you are just like so, like at least me, like sometimes I just like think too much about like the technical part. Like, oh, like is this going to be a good transition? Am I cutting the right frequencies, whatever, you know? And like I think lately I've
yeah,
been just trying to like enjoy more and be like, no, let me just be more on my body and like just dance more and like vibe more to the music and like not think so much about it. So yeah, so like I'm not nervous at all when it comes to the shows. Like I'm like I love to like be in the front of the crowd, but I'm just learning how to enjoy more like that moment, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I feel that for me it depends like some shows I enjoy so much and then if I'm yeah it's so interesting because it comes down to the same thing that you're talking about, which is whether or not I'm in the present moment or not determines how good of a time I'm having. Like if I'm in the present moment
Hmm.
and I'm like really just like vibing and like taking it all in, it's like the best situation
Hmm.
ever.
Hmm.
But if I'm like overthinking something or if I'm paranoid about like how I don't know, if I'm like tuned in too much about if I feel like how I'm feeling physically, like say I don't feel that great or like whatever, then I, like didn't sleep enough, like you know what I mean? It's like kind of
Yeah.
like hard to be. It is hard to be like fully present sometimes when you're performing. I definitely relate to
Hmm.
that for sure. Yeah.
Totally, yeah. Okay, so actually talking about traveling, um, so you from Ukraine, correct? You're born
Yep.
there. So how do you think being from there influenced your music journey? And is there any cultural elements from the culture that you see being present in your art?
That's definitely a good question. As much as I'd like to give the cool answer and say
Yeah.
and say that, my
Yeah.
Ukrainian roots have influenced me so much.
Yeah.
They definitely haven't because
Uh,
so I was born in Ukraine, raised by very European family in general. Like my parents don't even speak English to me. Like they only speak like my mom only speaks Russian to me.
mhm.
So I was raised by like a very European family, but at the end of the day, like I was born in Ukraine, moved to Canada when I was like 2, you know what I mean?
Okay,
So
okay,
like
okay, okay.
immediately from like 2 years old, I've been living in Canada. So my, like I'm more like Canadian
Hmm.
race,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say that the actual Ukrainian culture has influenced me much in my music. Yeah, I wouldn't say so.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I didn't know like how like when you moved to Canada from Ukraine. So yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, but I was curious
Yeah.
if there was like I don't know, even like the family, like if sometimes they were like, damn, I think this kind of like this connection, like my taste on these might come from something like very deep in the past, like connected to the culture or something. So yeah, but but that's
Yeah,
interesting. I mean, yeah,
wait,
yeah, like
where did you say you're from again? Where did you say you were
I'm,
from again?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I'm from Portugal, and like I lived there for like, I mean, like big part of my life. Like, you know, I was for 18 years I was in my hometown, which is like an hour north of Lisbon, and then
Yeah.
I moved to Lisbon when I was 18 to go to university. Then went back to my hometown, and I started traveling. And like during these last years, I would go there like for like half of the year. And you know, like even though I'm from Portugal, sometimes I'm like, damn, I don't know like how being Portuguese influences me. Like, you know, like I'm like I make a beat and I'm like, yeah, this has nothing to do with Portugal at all, you know. So I feel like the same way, you know, yeah. But yeah, but
Yeah.
sometimes like I have a lot of friends in Portugal that do a lot of stuff very much connected with the culture and like with the roots and like what does it mean to be like a Portuguese, and they bring that into the music. So yeah, I think it kind of goes both ways, but yeah. But for me it's like yeah, same thing, yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm glad that we relate to that
Yeah.
answer.
And
That's
yeah, another thing, you were talking about movies, and I feel uh like I love horror movies, and I think like you always been doing a lot of references throughout the years to horror movies and to concepts that are connected with them somehow. What's your relationship with horror movies these days, and what do you think it's the importance of horror movies in our society?
wow, good question.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I literally love horror movies. I've been watching horror movies since literally I was like probably too young to even be watching them, but like my
Mhm.
parents always allowed me to like watch whatever I wanted at like whatever age. So like when I was like 4 or 5 years old, like I was already like watching like creepy kind of things, like early movies like The Ring, The Grudge,
Yeah, I love
like
The Ring. Yeah.
all that, yeah, all that kind of stuff was like super influential to me. Anything horror and anything creepy in general has been always very influential to me. Like even creepy imagery, like anything that's just like on the ominous side inspires me. It like feeds this like certain part of my brain. It just like continues to like go in there. And it's like funny because as a person, I'm not dark spirited. Like I'm like a very like light person. Like I'm happy.
Mhm.
Like I'm not like, you know, making like my personality doesn't necessarily match the kind of art that I create. And it's because I'm with my art, I pull it from this like certain like vortex in my brain that's accumulated all of these images and movies and horror kind of ideologies, and then that kind of gets reflected into my music. And yeah, to this day I love horror movies. There's so many good ones, and anytime people ask me to name some, I'm like, oh my God, I can't think. There's just like so many I can't even
Yeah.
like think to name right now. But yeah, I love horror movies. And you asked what's the importance of horror movies in society, and that was an interesting question.
Yeah.
I've never really been asked that question before, but I think the one thing that's good about horror movies is like it like it's one of those things where when you get so I don't know, when you get so scared of something, kind of like a bad dream. You have like a bad dream and then you like wake up and you're like, "Oh my God. Like thank fuck I'm not in that situation. Like that's not real life. Like that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
reality. Like my reality is actually very peaceful and calm, and I've just woken up in my bed and like I love life." Like I think horror movies can be good for society to like remind you that like to be grateful that you're not in that situation. I
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an answer to that, but like obviously in terms of, you know, the way I sprinkle it into my art, like it's essential for me, like that kind of stuff. Like it just I love being scared, like the feeling of being scared.
Mhm.
Like, not like literally actually scared. Like of course, like there's like levels. Like of course, like I wouldn't want like someone to like smash through this door right now, but like
Mhm.
I like the idea of like me and my friends used to always go into like abandoned buildings and like try and like look inside like places that we were not supposed to look, like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like the
Mhm.
thrill of it, like the feeling of like your heart racing, like getting scared and like just like laughing afterwards because like you're actually safe, you know what I mean? It's like I just love that
Yeah.
feeling. It's definitely
Nice,
one of
nice.
yeah. You like horror movies as well?
Yeah, I used to watch a lot when I was younger, and like I mean when I was like I think I was like 12 or 13 when I watched The Ring the first time, and I think that was like the first movie that I was like, whoa, like what the fuck? Like I want to like see more stuff like this because it's a great movie and like just like the whole like the photography and like the actors and
No,
like the
I
script and
know.
everything, you know. But
Yeah.
then I was like watching other horror movies, but I was like, oh, these horror movies don't have the things that I like in The Ring. So like I started watching just stuff that was more like artistic somehow, and I just love the style. And I mean, I watched stuff that was like very disturbing around that time. I watched like this one called the Serbian Film. That was like one of
Oh, I
the
heard about that. I haven't seen that one yet though, but I've
yeah,
heard.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend like one to watch it, you know, but like it's but I'm
Yeah.
glad I watched it when I was like 16 or 17, and I remember like watching that movie in a like on a Sunday, like no school, like very bright day, very sunny. I watched the movie, and then I just went to skate with my friends, and I was like just tripping, like whoa, like what happened, you know? Because that movie has a
Yeah.
very disturbing scenes. And then for a while I stopped watching movies, and then I went back like couple months ago, yeah, I went back to like watch stuff again. So like I watch like Midsummer and I watch
Oh, I actually liked
the
her. That was so
I love
unique.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like I love how like for example Midsummer, right? Like um it makes you face like all these fears, right? And then also like makes you think about like certain things. Like for example, that part where the that couple jumps from the cliff, you know,
Yeah.
and they commit like suicide, and then like the westerns are kind of like, oh, like they're committing suicide, like what the fuck, you know. But then the other persons are like, the other people are like, yeah, but like what do you think it's better, like to die, like to be in bed and like waiting for that to come, like as you do in your culture, like or to for you to decide when to die, like stuff like that really makes you think. And I feel like horror movies,
That scene was crazy. Oh my
yeah,
God. Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah. So I think
insane.
horror movies are like, you know, I love movies, but they are very specific style that makes you think about things that other styles don't make you think. And I think just, you know, the fact that you face your fears on screen, like it makes you like kind of just think about life. And as you said, I think kind of you feel deeply like kind of grateful that you are okay and you are healthy and like you can do stuff. Yeah. So then
Yeah.
I watched the Hereditary. Like I love that one
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Nice
Yeah,
one.
that
One.
one, like, yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. Then I watched the one after. That's like from this. No, it's from A24, but it's another director that did. Uh, damn, that it came like last summer, I think. It's like a horror movie too. That's like there's like this hand that like you grab the hand and then like you just feel like possessed by the hand
Oh,
and
talk
like
to me.
yeah, talk to me exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
I watched that one too. I like that one too. I like that
yeah,
one. I like that one because it felt very like modern day horror movie. Like
yeah, yeah.
the filming and everything about it felt like very like new aged and
Mhm.
like I don't know.
And
Yeah, I
the cast too, like the fact
the
that
cat.
it's
Yeah.
like the cast is like all Australian and like it's not like always like American actors with like the English, like the American accent. I think,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and I
yeah,
like
so
that.
I love them. Yeah, yeah. I'm very attached to like the artistic side of horror movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the ones that you just mentioned a lot. Like literally a lot of those movies are actually my favorite movies too. And it's funny and I like that you said you liked Midsummer because that one so many people hated. Like so
I
many
love
people
it. Yeah.
yeah, so many people I know hated it. Like I like got my mom to watch it and she's like, "Why did you recommend me to watch this?" I was like, "It's so like it made me
Yeah.
think afterwards." Like afterwards I was like, "Oh, that makes me like I left the movie feeling weird." And I like that. I like
Yo, I felt weird for a week actually. Like
yeah,
I
me
kind of
too.
felt kind of like worried about me at some point because I was like, damn, I really feel weird. And then I was just thinking about like all the things I
The
was
worst.
doing, and I was like, oh, I watched Midsummer maybe. And then I talked with other people, and they're like, yeah, I felt because it's also like the whole movie is like
Yeah,
during the day, right? And it's like it just
yeah.
creates this contrast of like,
It's
you know, like
disorienting. Yeah, like
yeah,
I loved that was actually one of my favorite things about it was like the how disorienting it was and how like what's that? Yeah, what's the word when I think the word's like juxta. I don't know. There's like
yeah,
something bright. Like yeah, I mean I guess like the contrast between it being a daytime like a daylight movie while being horror like a horror film was just so like I loved that. It was just so
yeah.
disappointing and yeah, that was one of my favorite parts about that movie. So I definitely feel you about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. A couple years ago, I was with my friends and we had dinner and we were like, man, we just watched the most disturbing movie ever, and like just see how we feel. And like we went to Google and like we searched for the most disturbing movies of all time. And then I saw this list. I had like um it had the Serbian film on number two, and then he had like this other one on number one that was called August Underground. And I was like, man, Serbian film is like really bad. Like it's a great movie, but like it's very disturbing. So like if this one is on top of Serbian film, then it's gonna be crazy. Like we watched it, and like yeah, 3 minutes, like 30 seconds into the movie, we were three people. 30 seconds into the movie, one of my friends was like, "Yo, I'm done. Like you guys watch it, I'm done." And then like 3 minutes into, I was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this as well." And then my other friend was like, "Yeah, if you guys are gonna watch it, I'm not gonna watch it either." So that one was like very like yeah, disturbing. Yeah, very 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 crazy. Yeah.
I gotta look into. Wait. What did you say it was called?
August,
Okay.
like the month, and then underground, and then there's like the one, the two, and the three. And we watched the first one, and
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
it's like yeah, basically, I mean, like it's not no spoiler, but like the whole movie is basically like this person that is doing things, but he has like a VH camera, like a hand
Okay.
cam, so like everything looks like super real and like real to the point that one time like that director was crossing the border, I think with Canada and like America, and like he went to jail because they thought that the footage was like real, you know? Yeah. So it's
Well,
like that's the crazy part of it. It's just like too real. Like you feel like it's really happening, you know? So yeah, it's
I might watch that tonight.
I mean good work, good work. Let me know like if let me know if
Yeah.
you can watch the whole thing. Yeah.
I love those kind of movies though that
Yeah.
like just disturb. I don't know. I kind of like it, but we'll see what happens. I
Yeah.
don't know. You made it seem like I might
Yeah.
get
No,
past.
it's like I think I'm just becoming like a more like light person, and I just want things that feel like good, you know, and like I know I'm just getting brighter as a human being. I think you know. So like when I watched that, I was like, yo, this is definitely what I'm trying to not be like in my life, you know. Like I don't want to have nothing to do with this. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. That that makes sense.
yeah,
Oh
but
man,
yeah,
that's
but good work watching that one. Yeah.
you played at a few of my shows before.
Four
Which
shows, I think.
which ones were they again?
I played Boston like 2018,
Yeah.
and then on that same tour, DC, and then the 2019, I played Milwaukee
Okay.
and Res Rocks. I
Oh,
went, there was like someone that couldn't make it at Res Rocks, and then I went to do someone had like a visa issue, so I went to do that. Yeah, and actually, Boston, I had I had my wrist broken, so I was like playing with just one hand,
oh
and
yes, yes.
DC too. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God. Wow, that's wild. How'd you break your wrist?
it's skateboarding. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
yeah, yeah. It was pretty very very crazy. Yeah. So it was
Well,
like crazy, like travel with the broken wrist, carrying the suitcase with the broken wrist, going on stage, like you know, like
yeah,
practicing the set with just one hand.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was an adventure. Yeah,
one
but
hand.
I love the shows. Yeah, like the vibe was amazing, and yeah, I really love it.
Yeah, you got it. I would definitely love to have you out at more and just do a couple more
Yeah,
shows.
sure.
It would be super sweet at some point, definitely. But yeah, this convo was super fun. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah. So I have one last question: Is
Yeah.
where do you think you'll be in 10 years?
Oop, I just realized I'm blurry. In
Like,
10 years,
yeah.
well, hopefully, I mean, definitely, I'll be making music and probably, honestly, right now, I feel like the way my life is going right now is so great in terms of like I mentioned earlier in our conversation, like the balance between work life. And I hope to continue to sustain that in 10 years. Like I hope
Mhm.
that there continues to be this balance between, you know, loving creating and then being excited for my travels because they're not so oversaturated in frequency.
Mhm.
And also and hopefully I'll be able to sprinkle in some of that leisure travel that we were talking about as well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
hopefully by then I will have been traveling for fun and just like experiencing a new side of travel outside of, you know, making
yeah.
music,
Mhm.
and hopefully also like developing new hobbies and interests and um you know, exploring other potential like fun business ideas and who knows
Mhm.
what else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would say that. How about you?
I was ready to ask the question. I don't know if I was ready to answer the question. Uh, no, I mean, I think, yeah, I think in 10 years, like, I just wanna like keep doing what I'm doing, but like in a very like, in a bigger level. Like, I wanna, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I really wanna have like a really great impact in like electronic music, but also like in hip hop, and like find a way to also help a lot of kids that are starting to make music. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, all over the world, but like I would love to focus in Portugal, because I think sometimes it's kind of hard to like dream and have like bigger goals in Portugal. So I love to kind of like build a platform that can support like new people from there to, maybe, I don't know, if I have like a request to produce like a Beyonce album or something like that, and I could do it with just like Portuguese musicians, and like just like help those musicians to like be more recognizable, like stuff like that would be amazing. Like, definitely wanna, yeah, I wanna just use my music in a lot of other different worlds. Like, definitely like scoring for movies and stuff. Like, uh yeah, and also just in my personal life, like, yeah, I wanna go to like, yeah, every country in the world and like just travel a lot. But I think it's that, like, I think the most important thing is just keep being super happy and like healthy, and like be surrounded by people that I love and that love me too, and just yeah, just keep like enjoying life and feel like every day is like the best day ever. But yeah, there's also like, yeah, a lot of other places I want to like. I always love to go to Asia a lot, and like specific like Japan and Korea. So like I'd love to like, move there at some point and like just work a lot in the music scene there as well. So
Oh,
yeah, there's
nice.
there's a lot of work like to do. Totally,
I love that. That's
but
so
yeah,
awesome. I love that. And I
yeah,
love what you said about the movie scores and stuff like that too. I would like to get into stuff like that too, like over the next, who knows how long, but that sounds fun.
yeah,
Well, yeah, definitely.
yeah. But yeah,
All
but
right,
that's
cool.
it.
Our
No more
track,
questions.
I think I'm good. I'm stoked for our
Yeah,
track.
me too.
I just realized it's coming out on
Same.
Friday. Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
I'm stoked too. Yeah, yeah.
Amazing. All right, nice talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. Hopefully, I see you soon in the
Yeah,
somewhere in the
definitely.
world. Yeah,
Definitely. All right,
and yeah,
later.
let's do it.